It has been nearly 30 years since Pokemon Red and Green had released on the Game Boy back in 1996. And after seeing the Mario 40th anniversary be such a letdown, well, in some areas anyway, I'm kind of scared for what's going to be happening in the Pokemon industry, considering that we have a lot of different possibilities. So before we get into it, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the notification bell. If I'm singing some odd things, it's because I'm listening to Epic the Musical. But let's get into it. I think it's kind of hard for me not to compare Pokemon's future anniversary to how the Mario anniversary could be, but let's also think of how the Mario Kart World Direct was compared to DK Bonanza and the Mario Galaxy Movie Direct and even the Kirby Air Riders Directs. Meaning that where the Mario anniversary had failed, the Pokemon anniversary might actually succeed in presentation. But then again, Pokemon Legends ZA just got very mixed reviews, and once again, I still don't understand why people are saying the graphics look bad. Like, I get it. Flat images in some areas, but the graphics look great in my opinion. There's new Mega Evolutions in the base game and the DLC, but the big caveat with Legends ZA, too small for $60. The Switch 2 edition is just straight up a scam. The full package just costs $100 flippin' for a game that didn't get very, very powerful reviews, if that's the way to put it. Meanwhile, we have games like DK Bonanza and Kirby Air Riders that absolutely blow up. Maybe if the Switch 2 edition itself was maybe just $10 on its own and it actually included the Mega Dimension DLC, then it would warrant the price. At least for the Switch 2 edition, but I'm not sure about the base game. But it's not even just Pokemon Legends ZA with what everyone is calling bad graphics. It's also games with that similar art style, like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, since that's the only Pokemon game I've played on the Switch, LOL. But I have seen like one or two walkthroughs, and I've seen that Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they don't look that good. Like even the avatars themselves in the overworld and the graphics, they just don't look that good for Switch standards. They just look like up-resed DS versions, which is pure trash. Maybe that was taking a bit far. And then there's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which I heard just ran really badly in terms of frame rate. And looking at the actual footage, yeah, the graphics don't seem to be like big for Switch standards. So yeah, I can see what people are saying about critiquing the graphics for Pokemon games. But in terms of it looking actually bad, I'd say the only culprit here was Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. But hey, people can have wrong choices, and I can be wrong. But yeah, there's always room for improvement, and the graphics definitely need to be improved, especially now that we're moving into the Switch 2 era. Heck, even Pokopia doesn't look like a big dramatic jump from what's on the Switch 1. But now that I think about it, Pokopia just mostly resembles to be a mix of the graphics from Animal Crossing, New Horizons, and Pokemon on the Switch, so maybe that's why. Look, I'm not the best when it comes to spotting differences in graphics, so just tell me I'm wrong in the comments. You know you want to. But as for what the anniversary should actually bring us, well, I know that the Switch 1 already got like a reboot of a region. Like, once we reached the Game Boy Advance era, that's when the Pokemon Company just started rebooting the region for that handheld. Like, we got Kanto on the GBA, we got Johto on the DS, and I believe we got Hoenn on the 3DS, and then Sinnoh on Switch. And you know what's next up? It's gonna be Unova. But then again, Black and White already did get a reboot on its same handheld. So instead of getting Pokemon Black and White 3, what if we got Pokemon Pure Black, Pure White? Pretty sick name, right? But we also need to keep in mind something. The Switch already had a couple of reboots. I mean, but besides, we got Pokemon Arceus and Pokemon Legends ZA, which is supposed to be the sister-type games for Sinnoh and Kalos. Pokemon Legends Arceus had, well, Arceus, since we never got him on the DS. Pokemon Legends EA had Zygarde, since as far as I'm aware, he was only on the 3DS in the form of Pokemon Sun and Moon, which are games I have played. And does anyone else think that they went completely overboard with Zygarde's Mega Evolution? Because I think that's the case. It's the same thing with Gigantamax Blastoise. Like, they went too far. But I'm running out of things to say. So, but we still have a couple of things left to talk about. Now, this is obviously going to be the year where the 4th season of Pokemon Horizons is going to debut in Japan, and this 3rd season of Pokemon Horizons is going to debut here in the US, or everywhere else that I don't live in. And from what I've seen from the Japanese version of Mega Voltage, it seems like it's going to be the case where they go with the reboot of a game for a Pokemon game. I mean, that just happened with Mega Voltage, or Rising Hope here in the US. I mean, we got new Mega Evolution, we got a Mega Dragonite, so most likely, if we are going to be getting a reboot of the Unova region for our beloved Switch 2, that's probably going to be $70 or $80, give or take, then the same thing's going to happen in the anime. But there's one big thing here that we haven't talked about yet. Pokemon Ranger, released in 2006, the 10-year anniversary of Pokemon. Now, for Pokemon fans, the Pokemon Ranger games must have been amazing additions to the series. But as someone who has not played them, I can't really make a good judgment. So whether or not they are good games is interpreted by the players, and I, right now, am not a player. But if they take the idea of Pokemon Ranger and rework it to be even better, especially with this new formula that all the Pokemon Company just did in Pokemon Legends EA with real-time battles, they could probably rework the old formula for Pokemon Ranger. And especially with the mouse functions for the Switch 2, they could definitely rework some of the touchscreen shenanigans on the original dual screen systems. But as someone who lives in the US, I can only imagine that Japan is probably going to be getting something greater in terms of Pokemon, considering that they like to release their anime seasons about a year apart in the other regions. If that was a pun, then pun not intended. But what I mean by that is that they release the Pokemon anime season in Japan before making the English dub version here in the US, which is kind of a given. So there's probably going to be something great coming on the other side of the earth that I'm not going to be able to a part of. So I'm excited. Maybe Ash will return to the Pokemon anime for Season 4 of Rising Hope for some reason. I've had a whole fanfiction on how he could return and a new arc and whatever. Now, I'm not sure but I have talked about what the Pokemon Company and Nintendo could do in terms of rebooting Pokemon, and that's just a lot. I have also dipped in and out of that Pokemon anime for this video a little bit, but I frankly just am finding it harder and harder for this company to do newer and newer stuff the more regions they release. I mean, there's 1,025 Pokemon, and they're always coming up with new ideas. I mean, they created Flamigo. So, it's probably going to be a while before we get any new Pokemon, but yeah. So, I think that for this anniversary, they're going to focus on rebooting ideas. I mean, it's an anniversary. That's probably going to be the theme. But if they are going to do something new, please, for the love of my sanity, don't do any new boosts. For crying out loud. Like, they made Pokemon big. Big! Oh, save me, mommy. But that's that's pretty much all I got for you, everybody. So please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the notification bell, and I'll see you all in my next video. Ta-ta!